I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with the books I bought in October. This will be my second to last haul. Well, I might still have stuff coming in, but like things that I've bought. This is the second to last things that I've intentionally bought haul for a while. I will have one in November because I went out and I bought a couple books at Barnes & Noble before the Read What You Own challenge started, which is why I'm not buying books for a while. If you haven't watched my TBR for November, I'm doing that. I'm going to try to read 100 books before I buy anything new. I've got a few exceptions for myself, but basically I'm not buying anything. So watch that if you're interested. That's put on by Ollie. His channel is Criminali. Check that out. He's got all the deets for you. There are a few co-hosts and stuff like that. But really, this video is about books that I bought in October, and oh my gosh, I found so many exciting things today, or this last month, and I think what I'm excited most about is that our library had a Friends of the Library sale, which is not anything new to me, but I found so many good vintage books this time. Like, I don't think I've ever found so many bangers. So I'm really excited about that. I think I got 11 books for like $15. So it was crazy, especially there was one that I got that it's like, holy shit, I got this for $1. I got it for $1, dog. It's crazy. I'm so excited about it, but I'm gonna talk to you about the nonfiction books I found there. This first one here is Pioneer Women by Joanna L. Stratton. This is like a primary source collection, so it's women speaking about their own experiences on the pioneer, on the prairie, pioneering, homesteading, stuff like that, which I've talked about it like 4 million times, but I wrote a paper that did end up getting published in my school journal about women homesteading in the West after the Homesteading Act was created, and like why they would do that, because it would be so crazy. But as I discovered, it really let women have this crazy amount of independence that really was impossible in like normal society, you know what I mean? So I'm excited to read that. I've been really interested in like westward stuff lately, so yeah, super stoked. I also found this book, Roanoke. It says Solving the Mystery of the Lost Colony. This is by Lee Miller. This is another thing, just like a historical mystery that I have been interested in for a long time. I also wrote a paper on this in high school, so here we go. I want to read it. I don't know if it'll have anything new. It seems, when did this come out? It seems like it might be a little old at this point. 2000. Actually, that's not too old, I guess. So I'm interested in what this has to say, what its theory is. And then I've got a couple nonfiction mass market paperbacks I found. This one I'm really interested in. This is Black Rain by Masuji Ibushi, and this is translated by John Bester. This is, I believe, a first-hand account of the bombing of Hiroshima. It says here that it's about Hiroshima attack, and it says that the author grew up in Hiroshima, but I haven't read it, and it doesn't specifically say that the author was there for the event, but he's writing about it at the very least. So I'm excited, very intrigued by that, you know what I mean? I've also got The Climb by Anatoly Bukriv and G. Weston DeWalt, and this is, okay, I've talked about this a lot too, but the 1996 Everest disaster. I've read only one book on this by John Krakauer, Into Thin Air, which was so excellent, but I have been really interested in reading accounts from other people because there is some controversy around why what happened. Like, you know, John Krakauer, his thing is kind of like, what happened was there were too many teams, too many separate expedition teams. I can't remember if commercial expeditions, right? Because you really can't, or it's not really smart to hike Everest alone. Usually you go with somebody who is, you pay to guide you up. In this case, there were, I want to say 3 different expeditions trying to summit at the same time, on the same day. And they had just a really small amount of time that the weather was good enough for them to reach the summit from the last camp. And this kind of created this, you know, like train wreck almost. And then the circumstances with the weather were just perfect for such a small amount of time. And then there was a storm and people died. And so there is some controversy surrounding Jon Krakauer's account of it. Some people are like, well, that's not really what happened, or this isn't why it happened, and stuff like that. So I believe Anatoly Bukreev was on a separate expedition than Jon Krakauer. So I'm interested in, and he might even have been the leader of this, I don't know. I'll have to read it and tell you more about it. But it is really such an interesting topic and really sad. I'm interested to see what this has to say and how it might differ from Jon Krakauer's account of it. Okay, next one is The Boy Next Door by Gretchen Brink. This is a true crime book, Pinnacle, which is why I picked it up. I mean, I would have picked it up anyways, but I'm always looking for, you know me, I look for things. This is about a young man named John Dunkel who killed some young children in a neighborhood. He was kind of a weirdo, and I don't know, like, did he really do it? I guess I'll have to see. I also found 2 books from Chelsea Quinn Yarbrough, which are the 3rd and 4th in a series, unfortunately. But I saw the name, I saw the covers, and I was like, I need to have these, right? These are like medieval or historical, like horror romance about, it's like one main character who travels through time for some reason. And that's really all I know. I have got Blood Games and Path of the Eclipse here. One takes place in Nero's Rome and one takes place in the Far East. And I don't know if he's like a vampire or what. He looks really vampiric in this one, at least. So I'm gonna have to track down books 1 and 2, obviously. And I believe that there are more even after these 2. But that will be for another time. I also found a copy of The Source by Brian Lumley. This is the 3rd book in his Necroscope series. I have books 1 and 2, so I was like, hell yeah. Number 3, here it is. Then I have these 3 books that kind of could pair together. This I was so excited to find. This is Fear by Ronald Kelly, and copies of this that I've looked at. I haven't been like following the book, you know, like frequently looking at prices, but when I've come across it, it seems to be kind of expensive. So I was super stoked to find Fear by Ronald Kelly for $1 fucking dollar. And this is about this creature in the backwoods of Tennessee who's been eating people, and at one point it eats the wrong person, and it's the best friend of this young boy who goes to take it down. So it's like a child versus evil kind of thing, trying to save his best friend. Sounds really cool. Really excited to find that for $1 fucking dollar. And then I've got like 2 other like monsters in cave-like places books. I found The Mountain King by Rig Hautala, which is another like monster in a cave eating people kind of a book. And also Neanderthal by John Darnton, which I haven't come across this author or this book before. I was kind of floundering on it, but then I saw that it had some pretty cool step back art, and I was like, you know what? At that point I picked it up and I read the back, and I'm really glad I did, because this seems like another like adventure horror book where it says It's the expedition of the century. In remote mountains of Central Asia, an eminent Harvard archaeologist discovers something extraordinary. He sends a cryptic message to 2 colleagues, but then he disappears. Matt Madison, oh my god, you couldn't come up with, you literally made this name up, you couldn't come up with a better one? Matt Madison and Susan are not once lovers, now academic rivals, are going where few humans have ever walked, looking for a relic band of creatures that have existed for over 40,000 years, that possess powers man can only imagine, and that are about to change the face of civilization forever, and Neanderthal. So, it really sounds like it's in the vein of The Descent by Jeff Long, or The Anomaly by Michael Rutger, these adventure horror books that I really love so much. So I'm super stoked to have found that. Especially because I'd never heard of it before, you know what I mean? Like, what if I just walked past that book? It would be a tragedy. Okay, I also got a copy. I've been trying to find this edition of this book for a while for a good price, you know, because like I could have spent more money on it, but I can't spend all the money in the world on books. I don't have all the money in the world. This is Postmortem by Patricia Cornwell, and this is the start of her K. Scarpetta series. The main character in this is a medical examiner, and that's why I started reading these when I was young, because I really thought I was going to be like a forensic pathologist. That was like my calling when I was a teenager. And I ended up, I like got to interview like our county medical examiner and all this stuff. And it was for like a school project that I had to do. And at that point, she's like, listen, you have to see some grisly things. And I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about like all the things I would have to see. And that's when I decided like maybe I don't know about that so much. But I read the first few of these K. Scarpetta books and I really loved them. So I'm trying to get a hold of some of these again. And coincidentally, my choice for book of the month, When I'm Dead by Hannah Morrissey, really sounds a lot like a K. Scarpetta book. Oops. It's about a medical examiner who investigates the death of her daughter's best friend and then discovers that her daughter is missing. So I don't know where this goes. It seems like really in the vein of Patricia Cornwell. I also received the final secret project book from Brandon Sanderson's secret project thingy. This is The Sunlit Man by Brandon Sanderson, and really this is a very beautiful book. It's got sprayed edges. I think this might be my favorite one in the bunch. It's got these beautiful end pages, reminds me of Mordor. And then, okay, the synopsis of this says, across planets, Nomad evades the relentless Night Brigade. Always running, he lands on the world of Canticle, where now he's not just fleeing his own problems, but a lethal sunrise that melts the very stones. Finding himself embroiled in the power struggle of local factions, can he stay one step ahead of his pursuers while navigating the perils of this new world? Will he? I don't know. We'll have to see, won't we? All right, last two are from Nightworms this month. We got Let the Woods Keep Our Bodies by E.M. Roy and The Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. I did an unboxing for that if you'd care to know more about those books. But otherwise, this is all I have for you today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'd love to know if you've read any of these, what you thought about them. Yeah, I think that's it. So once again, thank you so much, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.